Tried in the past?
No,
Mm-hmm.
I have not. Okay, and the reason we went with your guy is because the guy, I didn't know him.
Sound like you blame me a lot.
No, these are people that you recommend that I trust your judgment, and I continue to trust your judgment.
I'm very active.
Well, can I finish what I was saying? Because you keep interrupting me. So the reason that we went with your guy is because you know him well, and you have seen his work.
The demo guy.
No, the guy that from Monroe. And I spoke with Larry because help, and then both you and both Larry recommend. We know him. We know where he's from. We've seen his work, whatever. Yes, he's a little bit more expensive, but everything will be done. And he did a good job. I'm not saying he didn't, but there were some things that he did that were electric work that I've had to get another electrician out to fix. There was some plumbing work where we had to go back into the walls and to kind of stuff that it cost me more money because now not only did and they have to fix the plumbing in a couple different places with pipes getting frozen because things weren't done. So yes, he was the more expensive option. I had to throw out more money to get things done the right way.
Expensive option. When you started this, I think we gave you what by the week, and it will start to work without 30% down. It's almost
30% down. You're taking a heck of a risk.
I agree.
Don't ever do that.
But that's you have no choice. If you want, that's your way. It costs more in the end, sometimes double. That's the option. I walk up at 5. Why? Because I'm in the of a renovation after eviction of a very, very bad tenant, and I know that for the house to look the way I want it to look in a week, in a day, in 2 days, I need to be there. This is not to move a wall, this is not drywall or spackle or paint even. This is right now to put knobs on the kitchen and to make sure there are no holes, that it's perfect. And for me to make sure and to be proud on my project at the end of the day, I have to be there. So I'm telling you right now, I think this is my conclusion with you. Okay, if you want to get the key in the cost more, and that's something I know on my own. I learned the hard way, but this is something I know.
You know what I wish there was, and
to know that you get the best product, this will cost more, and that's something I know on my own. I learned the hard way, but this is something I know.
You know what I wish there was, and Glenn online, not you, Glenn producer. If you know of anybody, let me know. But you know what I would really like to do: 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch drywall, when to use which, or the difference between a 2x4 and a 2x6 and when to use which, or how to when you use this kind of beam or when you use that kind of beam, or when you do this kind of window versus that.
We have a presentation about that subject. I don't think it's updated. I think this is one of the presentation that we really need to update in the school, because this is extremely important if you want to deal with real estate. Yes. This is one of the things you really want to do.
Yeah, I really, what time are you getting?
No, it's not relevant.
Okay. I really want the construction crew to learn what has to be done. You know what I mean? With when it comes to plumbing, when it comes to HVAC, when it comes to electrical.
We have on a job site with them.
Yeah.
And it's a fun day. Why won't you do that? So you are listening to the Larry Steinhouse Show, and you're welcome to call us at 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137. We're happy to hear back from you if you want to ask about real estate, stocks, money, anything that is on your mind, even politics. 855-939-1137.
Okay.
So we have I think 8 or 7 more minutes.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah. I think this is the conclusion. You
and your conclusions. Do you want to do the phone number real quick?
No, I did. 855-939-1137.
Why are you so hostile?
It's not. Something with the microphone. I'm too far away from the microphone, but I'm playing with the headphones, and it's still shout. It's like
Yeah,
a
you're
lot
very
of
loud.
bass in my ear. You too. I'm too far away from the microphone, but I'm playing with the headphones, and it's still shout. It's like
Yeah,
a
you're
lot of.
Yeah, it's loud. You are loud.
But they say I'm low. I don't know.
I
So
don't know.
yeah.
You're always loud.
855-939. Yeah, but even with all this headache and with how good, so jealous to see your numbers in the stock right now. And all the good numbers you're getting right now is the covered calls, and with the covered calls. And all
So
that.
you know it's interesting because I was just talking. Okay.
I still am not willing to give up real estate.
I'm not willing to give up real estate either. Actually, I was talking to Tamar about this last
No.
night. Your wife and I, we were chatting a little bit
Yeah.
yesterday. And what's interesting, you know, she said something to me. She said a couple of things to me that made me think, which was great. And one of the things so for those of you that don't know, Tamar is Omri's wife.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys been married, what, 8 or 9 years or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
10 years now.
10 years now. And that's it? Just 10 years? That's like nothing.
Just 10 years.
Just 10 years. Anyway, so she actually works in an old folks facility, like a older,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like assisted living.
Assisted living.
Assisted living. And she was saying how a lot of the people that, you know, she's taking care of is they're always talking about their regrets, all the things that they regret in life. And I guess, you know, you always hear that too. And I guess it hit me harder because she's seeing this every day. And it just reminds me to do the things that you want to do, right? And even if it scares you, and I actually had a conversation with him to the school, and we're going to push you out class the other day. And, you know, he's like, how many people have I made uncomfortable? And of course, I am one of them because my Monroe project was definitely a very uncomfortable experience for me. And not, you know, and then he always pushes me out of my comfort zone. He's trying to push you out of your comfort zone, and he pushes.
He do.
And he pushes a lot
and
of
you need
students.
to remember that it's not the same way. It's not the same way because I am doing things a bit differently, and I insist on doing it, and that's why it's a bit different.
Mm-hmm.
But exactly what you say is the reason why, after on and off about it, and a lot of, by the way, arguing with Larry, because, you know, I'm not afraid to stand up to Larry.
So neither am I.
So I decided.
I think that's why he likes us, because out of everybody in his life, you and I are not scared to go back at him.
The deal right now that we are doing in Ruskin scares me a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. And I tell you why it scares me a lot. I look forward. I can tell you that when I started real estate, all the income I got from my tenant went into renovating another one, and another one, and another one, and fixing and growing and growing, and it was awesome. That's how I managed to be in where I'm at right now, and I'm very proud of where I'm at right now. Right now, the deal we're doing in Ruskin, the second mobile home park we are buying, it will take time for it to bring income. More than that, we will need to use income from the other mobile home park right now to stabilize the new mobile home park.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that scares me very, very much. And yes, you're right. It put me out of my comfort zone. And it's like we are so close to being a point that the mobile home park will bring each one of us big sum of money every month to the pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're doing something even bigger. And that's something that it's sometimes hard for me. But I can tell you right now, I don't think the advice that I got from Larry, he steered me wrong.
I don't think he will steer you
always,
wrong. Yeah.
No, not intentionally. Of course, not intentionally.
Never.
He never steered me wrong. He never steered me wrong. He know exactly where I want to be. He also pushed me there. Sometimes too hard, I agree, but he pushed me into my goals.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very happy with it. And it's also, by the way, what's going on right now is the property we bought together in Richland Town.
Mm-hmm.
Just this week. Maybe we'll talk about it in the next hour. This is something I was extremely uncomfortable with, and I refuse to go forward with. I refuse to close. By the fact that we refused to close on this property and bought this property, it turned out to be even a better deal 2 months later. And here we are, and we own this property right now,
yeah.
which is pretty. He takes you out of your comfort zone, and it brings you to exactly where be out of your comfort zone and make great things in your life and be in position that you're dreaming about being. So go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com. Hit the RSVP button and join us for a Thursday night. It's a free complimentary Thursday night class, and you will see exactly what.
So I think we still have a little bit of time. I think
we do.
Glenn, what time are we at? Do you know?
No, I do.
You know, I think it's 59 and a half.
Let's
or
try
something.
to be a bit serious.
I'm like, dude,
there.
I don't even. You're just like. Closing up the show.
You
That's
don't
what I'm
see
like.
all the screens.
No, I can't see the screen.
Now I get it.
That's why
because
I'm
there
like,
are two screens. Okay.
Yeah, I can't see
gotcha.
the screen, so I don't know what the heck you're talking about. Oh my goodness, you're like closing out the show. We're not even done the show yet.
No, I'm not. I just want to be prepared.
All right. Well, I have been asking you all of this past hour to put up the thing so that I could see.
But calm down.
I am fine.
Please calm down.
I am fine.
Can you move on? Any deal you regret? Come on. You regret doing the Monroe deal?
I don't know. So here's the thing with Monroe, right? Remember? Because there used to be a duplex on there, and by the time I got it, the duplex was gone, and it was just a lot. And I bought the lot because I thought I needed parking. I thought the township was requiring me to have 2 parking spaces. The township was requiring me to have 2 parking spaces, so I bought the lot.
Is it part of the area that is fenced?
Yeah, it's fenced in, yeah.
It's fenced in, okay.
Yeah, that's my lot next door. So my goal for that property was to have
another one.
To build a 6-unit townhouses right on the other lot.
Yes.
And I have approval to do that. I did get approval from the township to build 6 units there.
Yeah.
Townhomes, 3 levels up, 3 bedroom, 2 bath with a garage.
Will you do that?
So my whole goal was for that to be 12 units, right?
Exactly.
You know, and that would be really nice.
Your pride and joy.
My pride and joy. And that was also what my plan was, my retirement. Like, I plan on using that as my retirement.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, among other things, but that was like my main goal for that. So we will talk about it in the next...
We can.
Right.
Good afternoon. You are listening to the Larry Steinhouse Show. Thank you for being us. Go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com, and you can RSVP for a complimentary class this Thursday. Thank you very much, and join us for the next hour.
You're clear.
Thank you.
This program is paid for by Investor Schooling. All opinions or statements expressed on the program are solely those of Investor Schooling or their guests and do not reflect the opinions of WPHT or all.
WPHT Premium Automobile Studios, powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations. Always.
Omri, I have a question.
As a business owner, you wear a lot of hats. One minute you're ordering today's inventory, and the next you're planning tomorrow's expansion.
So are you telling me that you're getting feedback in your headphones? Is that what you're saying?
No. It's something with Larry's headphones or sitting position. I don't know. No, I hear myself very loud on my earphones.
Signify Business Cash.
I don't know. I lowered it a
Here's
bit.
the thing. The volume,
Drum supply.
you should never have to turn it up too loud. You should
News Radio.
and keep your head.
That's why I didn't increase the volume when you wrote it, because I see that Larry's slider is almost at the top.
America is throwing a huge block party
And
today
I'm sitting in his seat right now.
It's not coming through here.
It's online on Facebook. Can you hear that crackle? Like, you hear that static?
No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't
If you
wanna
guys can
be.
let us know
If you're over 50, Big
in the
Wireless
thing, if you
probably
hear the
has you
static.
paying.
I don't know what to
over a
do about
lifetime.
that. Like, whether
We're
or not I
here to
should
be
build
the
6
biggest.
units, and if
We're
I
here to
can
bring you something we
get it
believe is
rented
better.
out. And
Our plan starts same fast.
I think Larry won't let me do it
nationwide
anyway for a
coverage
little while
without the Big
anyway.
Wireless.
Facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay.
Do it,
Usability
right? And
matters. Some
I will
results-driven
talk to you about it in
advertising
the
shouldn't
show.
look.
Bring
Powered
the
DSP,
main output
streamlined
down a
setup.
little bit. Volume can
Clicking,
come down. The
more
main volume
strategy.
can come down
and
just a
with
little
proven
bit.
CTV leadership across premium publishers. Why are
All
you
right, here
still
we go.
trading on
5
the
seconds.
desk?
Visit Viant.ai to unlock real results today.
Program is paid for by Investor Schooling. All opinions or statements expressed on the program are solely those of Investor Schooling or their guests and do not reflect the opinions of opinions or statements expressed on the program are solely those of
HD3 Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. The Larry Steinhouse Show.
Hello and welcome to the Larry Steinhouse. Joining us for a second hour, unless this is a repeat, and this is the only hour you will get from us. We Investor Schooling headquarters here in Bucks County, Pennsylvania.
How are they supposed to know if it's a repeat or not?
What?
How are they supposed to know if it's a repeat or not? You said.
I tried to be goofy and you just ruined it.
I know, but it wasn't funny.
So today is June 21st, 2025.
Is that today?
And listening to a repeat.
There you go.
We are
now that it's clarified.
Yes, we are broadcasting to you from the Investor Schooling headquarters here in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Morad and I, basically a substitute teacher. Larry Steinhouse is in a cabana in the Bahamas. No, he's not really in a cabana in the Bahamas. He's doing some other speaking in Chicago right now. Any point during the show at 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137. 37. We are focused on trading and the stock market. And if you want to call and talk about politics, you're welcome. Read something.
Yeah, you don't know how to talk apparently.
But
you don't know how to read either.
You're listening to this show. This channel don't do anything. And financial show, exactly.
We do have fun though, you know.
LinkedIn, Twitter. We know you are watching. Schooling at Investor Schooling. That you never knew. We focus with real world skills, tax saving tips, and the secret to financial freedom. Our headquarters are right here. Teach eager investors all over the country. RSVP for a free this Thursday night at Investor
Conclusion?
No, it's not to conclusion. Yes. So when Larry is out, as you see, a bit more. But I'm fine with that. I know this is how people in this country.
All right.
Yes.
Yes. So you were asking me at the end of last show if I was going to build 6 units.
Yeah. So just a quick refreshment. Debbie has
refreshment. Here's a refreshment. A refreshment is something you eat or drink. Refresher.
Yes, quick refreshment. So Debbie has a quad and a duplex in Wilkes-Barre, and she have the choir, and she is considering if she should build on it another 4 or 6 units.
So it's not that I considered it. So I bought the lot thinking, I bought the lot at tax deed auction. For those of you who don't know, I do a lot of tax auction. Was told originally that when I fixed up the quad that I would need 2 parking spaces per unit. Not a lot of parking available. So I for parking. And then when I went to, I got an architect out there and we drew up.
Right. You have all the plans, right?
I have all the plans. Yeah, I have everything. I mean, I have the basic plans. Like, they would have to be reworked a little bit, but I have the basic bathrooms and a garage. Side I can add more parking, which would really be improved. So I can build there and the question, and Larry, I know a year ago, he's like, you're not touching that place at least for a while because Monroe was so difficult for me.
Say today,
Yeah.
and you know my opinion. I believe that before you buy the maximum you can from what you have.
I don't think I can get any more money out of.
Mean if you have a lot, what I said, figure out how much it costs. I have a property right now that the basement is only half finished, and I know that the tenants that are there would very much appreciate another bedroom. Now they are Section 8 tenant, and their voucher will grow because of the growth of the family. I know they just brought another baby to this world, and I know that they will get another bedroom in the voucher. For me to finish this basement the proper way with an egress, that it could be a bedroom there and all that, maybe it will cost me another 50 grand, but that means that I could get for this property another anywhere between 500 to market. Now we guide ourselves by the 1% rule, and the 1% rule say that if for your investment in every month, this probably a good deal,
right?
Which means if I'm putting right now into a property $40,000,
right,
and the property deliver me $400 every month, this is probably a good deal. I look at it further, and I said, and that putting into my own property another $40,000, and this will bring me another $400 every month. This is a good investment for me. This is a good investment for myself, for my property, that I am not looking to sell in any given moment. So I'm telling you the same thing. I'm telling you, figure out how much it will cost you. You already have the lot, you made the plans, you got the zoning, you did all that, which seems like a very good thing. Now see how much it will actually cost you to do that, and you of course have the comps for rent because you just rented what's basically is almost a brand new, freshly, you can call it a new construction. I think what you
yeah, everything was brand new. I mean everything, like everything
beside the shell,
everything was brand
exactly.
new. Yeah, everything was brand new.
So you have the comps for the rent. Do that, figure out the numbers, and maybe you will decide that to go with a big contractor and do that is the right choice for you.
Yeah, so it's something to think about because I still want to work. I would like to do a couple more of them. I'm still learning how to do some land flipping, so I want to get a little bit. Actually, I just interviewed a VA yesterday. Did I tell you about that?
No.
So I interviewed a VA. So
for yourself?
For myself. So I'm learning how to do land flipping. I have a mentor who's teaching me how to do land flipping. I have a property under contract, and I'm trying to get a freaking realtor. So if you
have one that you actually bought.
I have one I bought.
How is that going?
It's on the market. So it's on the market.
Good.
So we've had some interest in it. So I'm waiting to hear back.
One that you actually bought.
I have one I bought.
How is that going?
It's on the market. So it's on the market.
Good.
So we've had some interest in it. So I'm waiting to hear back from that. And then I just have this other one under contract, and I'm trying to get a real Wythe County, Virginia. Please call me because I need our comps on a property, on a piece of land. And then anyway, so I want to step up my game with the land. Hard because I don't have all the time to do the comps because I have so many other things going on. So I did. I reached out to a friend of mine who also does land flipping, and she has her own little business. She's been very successful. And she recommended a VA company and then somebody she's friends with. And then I interviewed this VA yesterday, and he clearly has been doing, he showed me a bunch of samples. I asked him to walk me through. I asked him to walk me through his sample, and I asked him to tell me what does he do, from start to finish, how does he comp it? And I asked him strategic questions, and he did very well with the questions. Mm-hmm. And so I think I'll hire him. But we were on the phone on the call for about 45 minutes.
Is it a full position, like all day long?
Well, no. Well, it's 8. So I have to hire him for a minimum of 8 hours, and I can use him after that 8 hours. I can use them more or less. But I think if I send, because right now I'm sending out about 300 texts a day, but I haven't for the last 2 or 3 days because I'm behind on my comps. I don't want to keep getting more leads in and not be able to follow up. So if I get more, so that's the goal of me wanting to hire a VA. So he seemed, pretty well. So I'll hire him. I'll try him out and see what happens, but that'll help me. Hey Tess, how are you, sweetheart? It's so good to hear you. I'm so sorry I'm not going to be able to. So I have. So
yeah, you need to tell.
Yeah, so I'm sorry.
There's more than one person listening right now.
Yeah,
yes?
so we have. We're on Facebook. We're live on Facebook. Of course, we're on YouTube, and we're on a couple of things. So Tess is someone who's reaching out on Facebook, and I love Tess, and her and I actually got to be good friends, and really got to know each other very well a few years ago, and we always kind of keep in touch. And whenever we have a chance to room together, we do, because all we do is sit and talk forever, because she's such a great person. She just had her book come out. I mean, Tess is just a wonderful, wonderful person, and she just happens to be on Facebook, and she's like, "Hey Deb, how you doing?" I just want to do a big shout out to Tess, because I love you, I miss you. Anyway, there's a bunch of women. We're all going together to Acapulco in August, and I just backed out of it. Only because my husband, Tess, so you don't know this, but my husband really asked me not to go, just because I have so much travel planned for this year. And, I was just away, just in Buenos Aires for about 3 weeks. I was Buenos Aires for 3 weeks. I'm going to Vegas. I'm going to be going to Orlando. I'm going to Arizona, just in Buenos Aires for about 3 weeks. I was Buenos Aires for 3 weeks. I'm going to Vegas. I'm going to be going to Orlando. I'm going to Arizona. I'm going to Colorado, and like all of these are for like a week at a time. So I have a lot, or at least 5 days or so at a time. So I have a lot of travel this year. And now my kids are grown. They don't live with me at the house anymore. So now it's just me and my husband in this 4-bedroom house. And when I leave, he has a hard time with me leaving. And, and we had a rough couple years, but now we're doing so well that when I leave, he really gets upset. So he asked me flat out to not go to Acapulco. So if you can, that's why I'm not going to go, because he flat out asked me to please not go to Acapulco, because that was a week that I could probably, and the world won't end. But the rest that I have to go to, whether he likes it or not. So that's why I'm not heading out there. But I'm bummed out, because I'm going to be missing Tess. I'm going to be missing Lori. I'm going to be missing, a lot of the people that I'm good friends with, and that we always have a good time when we're together, because, you get a bunch of women together that are all friends. We all goof off and have fun, and we just have a good time. So I'm so sorry that I won't be able to make it. But Tess, it's always a pleasure to see you and see what's going on. I'll have to give you a shout and see what's going on. But that's where that's coming from. But where else were we talking? I don't know. So I got the VA. I got the VA thing going. And freelance has picked up tremendously, thank God, because I was slow a little bit last year, which freaked me out. But freelance has been going crazy strong, which is awesome, and I thank God for that. And I want God to keep me very busy with freelance. And then I still got the real estate going on, and then I'm learning how to do this land flipping. Then I got this Delaware property that I'm trying a new model out on. So I have a lot of things. Then I have the school that I'm also very involved in. Life that keep pulling at me to keep attention going, which is why I need help.
That's a lot of that's a big problem in our life, because normally some people think that real estate is a very passive income.
It can.
And the best way to do it passive is by hiring a management company, which is something many people choose to do. If you are, let's call it in the right name. If you're a control freak, maybe it's not for you and you want to manage and deal with your properties. If you do that, you need to clear, I don't know how much. Let's say an hour, 2 hours a day. I'm exaggerating. Right?
Yeah,
I'm exaggerating.
Exactly. You are exaggerating. I mean, I don't think it's. I think you're looking at. So I have.
If you're looking for more properties to buy, if you're renovating, you're in the middle of more time.
Right,
yes.
But if you just have, so if let's just say I wasn't looking at, I'm looking at that apartment building, so I'm also really involved in that right now. If I wasn't looking to buy and I didn't have that Delaware property, and this thing is getting a land, I have to get a guy to cut the grass at one place, so I'm just trying to get a landscaper out there for one place. And I don't know about whoever's in the area. We had a really nasty storm in the last Thursday night. We had a nasty storm, so there was a tree that So we're checking to make sure that the window's not broken and there's no leaks coming in. But that's just because we had a really bad storm, But I mean, usually there's not much of an issue. It's like, hey, can you check on this for me or can you check on that for me? But it's not usually anything big that's going on. So, don't think that you're spending 30 hours a week managing properties.
No, I don't.
Like that,
as long as you have tenants inside and you have problem here and there, it's maybe 1 hour a month.
Maybe not 1 hour a month, but I'd say
I don't know, because
maybe hour to an hour a week at most. At most,
you need
most.
you need to watch the rent. You need to know how
Yeah.
to send the rent increase letter. You need to make sure. Sometimes you need
the water bill if your tenants aren't paying the water bill, you know what I mean, like if you're covering the water, like stupid things like that.
Yeah.
Or I had a raccoon or a possum or something go up in the attic in one of my places, so I had to call somebody out to get that taken. There was a leak in I had a leak in the toilet, in one of my places, so I had to go and call somebody out for that. Like little things like that.
You showed me the picture of that. Actually, we are focusing on real estate big time today.
That's all right.
Yeah, but you showed me a picture of that. If I remember, toilet that was leaking.
That's a different one.
Okay.
It's a different one.
Because you showed me a picture of a toilet that was broken.
Okay.
And she's supported by our organization. Something is, I don't know. I don't want to put a finger. I don't want to say what's wrong with her and why. But I work with this organization for years, and I accepted her, and everything is fine. Almost every year, she called me about a problem that is above normal wear and tear.
Oh, I think I remember you talking about this lady before.
This year, it's the screens. The problem is, there is always a fight about who will pay for the repair. Is it her? Is it the organization? And it always came to the point that I said, I'm done. She don't want to pay the $150. The organization don't want. She needs to be out. I'm done.
Yeah.
And then everything got solved on its own. This year, she called me about the screen, and I said to her, listen, a screen is not going off by itself. The kids are somebody is pushing the screens, you lean against it and it go off the grids.
Yeah.
Something happened. It doesn't make sense. Redone 2 years ago.
Okay.
So it's abnormal. Let's call it that.
Okay.
And I called her about that, and I said, I think I texted her, not called. I said, listen, I saw the picture you sent. This is above normal wear and tear. This is not something that broke over time. Okay, and this will cost, and this is like $50. And immediately it started the fight.
Okay.
I walk away from those situations. I put the guideline. I said to the tenant what I think needs to be done, and if they want to discuss that, I'm all ears. But if they start to be nasty about it, anything not there.
So an interesting thing happened was that, and it's funny you say so. I just got yelled at. So so by Larry, typical. So Thursday and I have a condo in Philly. It's like a gated community condo, and the tenant sent me a picture of the branch, literally up against the window. Okay, and she's like, Deb, she's like, this happened. What do I do? And then I responded, we're literally in the middle of this storm. Like, there's nothing I can do. And I said, call, because it's a condo. So I'm like, call the condo and see if they have an emergency services to see if they can take the tree down. I'm like, what do you want me to do? There's nothing I can do. And then I said something to Larry, and he looks at me. He's like, why'd you answer? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, next time before you answer, he's like, wait half an hour. Because when my tenants text me, I usually text them back pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just think that's the right thing to do. But Larry's like, wait 30 minutes or wait 30 minutes to an hour before you answer so that I can come up with because, when I'm responding to the first thing that's coming to my mind. And sometimes that may not always be the right thing to say.
So many times it's because when there is a problem, the tenant find a way to fix it. A clogged toilet, if you wait 20 minutes, 15 minutes, and sometimes I texted them have you tried to do that? Have you tried to do that? Did you do that? Somebody's texting you about a clogged toilet. Sometimes you figure out that the toilet got unclogged pretty fast. Me with the information or to try to deal with it on his own.
Okay. Okay, so it's fine. So that's something I need to learn is to wait, half an hour or an hour before responding to see if they're able to fix it, whatever, on their own. And so, like I said, I'm always still learning, and I'm always still learning. Yeah. I'm always still learning, and I take on new things that I haven't necessarily done before because that's how I continue to grow, right? That's what you do. That's why coming to the school is always a great idea, because you're going to learn something new and learn something different. People who come to our school, it was funny, I just had a coaching session yesterday so for those of you that don't know, I also coach there. So one of the students came to me to be coached, and, she's very sweet, and she's like, Dr. Deb. And I'm like, what's up? And she's like, I have so many things I want to talk to you about. And she has this whole notebook of all these things that she's doing. She's like, I'm so scared to do this. And I'm like, yeah, but you're learning so much. So it's just great, because all these things, when she came to the school, she was quiet, she was timid, she didn't know if she was going to do this. So we were talking about a place that she wants to buy a place to rent as an investment property. And we were looking at the numbers, and I showed her why the numbers weren't working and why it's not a great investment property for the price that they wanted, But I'm like, however, if you do this or you do this, that might be an option. So she was talking about how it's a cute little place. It's they want $299 for it, but she thinks that she could turn it into a 2-unit and rent out the garage. I'm like, okay, because we were looking at the rents in the area. Rents in the area only went for maybe $2,200 to $2,500. I'm like, the 1% rule, it's not making it. She was like, I was thinking of turning it into a duplex. I'm like, before you do that, just make sure that you're allowed to do that at the township, because you don't want to start making it and then it not be legal. So you want to make sure that you'll be able to get that variance and be able to do that. And then I said, if you have a big garage, you can always rent that separately. And if that's the case, then, if you can make $3,500 on it a month, then that $299 works fine. You know what I mean? So if, provided everything else works out, right? Like the revisions, the renovations and whatever. But then she's looking at going to a tax sale. What do I need to do for a tax sale? And then we were talking a little bit about private money. She has a little bit of money in her IRA. And I'm like, you might want to consider making money on that IRA, because right now it's just sitting there not doing anything for you. So we talked about private lending. But I guess the whole point is that all these things she didn't know anything of, you know what I mean? So if, and now she's learning about all those things here at the school, And, whether it's real estate, whether it's stock options, there's so many things going on at the school. We're always learning different things. Yes. And what's nice is that you're also learning from our mistakes, right? So everybody learned a lot from my Monroe property. People learned a lot from you guys with the Richland Town property.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Even, some of the court case stuff, we're learning about that. Or if somebody had to go through an eviction, what was the process and what happened?
Everything about life.
Or even like the covered calls, like people are doing the covered calls. And we're getting a lot of traction with that, and all the students are really excited about that. I'm doing it also, just not through the challenge, because I already had money in there.
You do have the challenge. You don't do the competition. Yeah.
Yes. Maybe. Yeah. So I mean, I'm not doing the challenge.
So what Debbie is talking about is that we are having a covered calls challenge right now in the school. I think we have 12 participants.
Something like that. Yeah.
And this is going until, if I'm not.
Friday in July.
The last Friday in July, I'm sorry. Yes, and that will bring the winner of the person who will make the most money on covered calls.
On covered calls. So what you had to do to get started is you had to put $10,000 into an account, and then you want
new fresh account.
And like no more, no less. You can use whatever stocks and whatever covered calls you want. So the goal is to see who has the most money at the end of. We're getting so the first week there was a couple people who were at 11,000, and then a couple people who were at like 10,300, whatever. And then week 2, the people who were and there were other people, because they use more volatile stocks, and the other people who were using more stocks were consistent, but they made a profit. So now everybody's over 10. I think everybody should be over 10 now still. But I mean, people are just doing
one. But he took a big risk.
He took a big risk. He purposely did a very volatile stock.
Yes.
People are just doing B stocks. You can see how you can lose your money quickly. So we talked about why X people had that steady amount in their account and why the Y people had such volatility and why their accounts went up and down that way. So we're learning from everybody, and that's what we do. We're learning from everybody and everybody's situations, and whatever that situation is, stock or stock options, whether it's a covered call, whether it's, you know, something related to real estate, whether it's something related to like Roth IRA. And it reminded me that I needed to update my wills, because the last time I did my wills, my kids were underage. And now my kids are well over, you know, like they're 19 and 21. The last time I had my wills done, they were like 15 and 17 or something, or 14 and 16, whatever. They were underage. I'm like, oh, you know what? It's been 5 or 6 years. I need to update my wills to make sure that all that's up to date. And that so my properties are all been updated. And so God forbid something happens, everybody's protected, right? And everything's up to date, because you don't want to not do your wills for 10 years. But what was interesting is that I didn't even know. That reminds me, I need to make an appointment with my lawyer to get all that stuff updated, which is nice because yourself to where you need to be. It keeps pushing you forward to where you need to be.
So I have a question for you. To sell all your properties and do only covered calls?
No.
No,
I love real estate. Like
me too. Yeah.
When I came to the school, I was interested in real estate. I was not interested in anything else. I was interested in real estate. And when I've always been really interested in real estate, and I have no interest in giving that up.
I love physics.
I
love physics.
Okay.
The most difficult fields in physics for me are the one that you can touch, that you need to imagine.
Okay.
That you can't feel, say.
With the covered calls and the stock
covered calls
and
with
market.
the stock. So we can. Want to join us? 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137. Let's go to commercial break.
Hi, this is Larry Steinhouse, and I want to let you know that I buy houses.
Thank you, man.
I buy houses from people that may be a tired landlord, maybe somebody who's having trouble selling their house, or maybe someone who needs to sell their house quickly. Well, all you need to do is call 855-939-1137, and I promise the house may be cluttered. It may be a house that a relative left you, or it may just be a house you just want to get rid of. 855. This is Take a complimentary class this Thursday. You need to learn how to invest in real estate. You need to learn how to invest in the stock market. You need to learn how to invest. And you need to learn how to make more money than you've ever. You here? Come to investorschooling.com. Take a complimentary class this Thursday and learn. That's investorschooling.com. Time with us to see how you can make more money than you've ever made before. That's right. We'll teach you ways that you've never even heard of to make money. So go to investorschooling.com. Complimentary class this Thursday. That's investorschooling.com. We'll see you there.
So this hour is going to be the same as far as the out time. 59:30 is your hard out.
Sure. Thank you.
It's called the Larry Steinhouse Show. And you want to listen to this show because it's a live show and you can call in. In fact, here's the call-in number.
855-939-1137.
And when you call in, you can ask us questions about real estate, the stock market, even politics. Make sure you tune in Saturday, 1 o'clock. This is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling. Hey, this is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling.
You want to come back after this? Or you want a little more time?
Listen to my voice before you
no, we good.
Go to investorschooling.com. I can't believe you haven't signed up for a class yet. You're going to learn real estate investing. You're going to learn stock options trading. You're going to learn things about money that you didn't even know existed. Go to investorschooling.com right now. Oh my goodness. This Thursday, investorschooling.com, and take that free class.
This program is paid for by Investor Schooling.
You're back.
Thank you.
We are Investor Schooling.
Welcome back.
At the
Larry Steinhouse Show.
Without Larry Steinhouse
Without
today.
the Larry Steinhouse. We just heard him moan.
What?
You heard that?
What?
He has the commercial that he say, why aren't you here Why aren't you here yet? Right? Investorschooling.com.
I missed the commercial with the hua houses.
The what?
The hua houses. Remember the hua houses?
Yeah.
The hua.
I remember.
The hua.
Yeah, it was a very good one.
That was a good one.
I know.
If anybody ever saw The Sopranos, it was, they say hua. They don't say whore. They said hua.
Yeah, so people heard for some reason. We had to re-record this commercial. For some reason, people heard that Larry said during the commercial that he's buying whorehouses, which
Makes me laugh every time.
Which was completely wrong.
Hoarding houses.
Yeah, exactly. Hoarding houses. And people, for some reason, yeah.
And we're like, okay. And then neither one of us even noticed it until they played it back. And then as soon as they said it, we all started laughing because it was so funny.
I must say, I'm going to complain about it.
I was the one who called to complain, yes. I want him to buy whorehouses. I want him to buy whorehouses.
I'm 100% sure.
There you go. Yeah, there's a whole big, you know what, when I was like 20 years ago, there was a big thing. It was I think it was in Trenton, and there was a lady, madam or something, I forget her name, and she had like this book, like black lit, like the book list or